So today we are going to go over how to apply motion capture to your animation rig. So right now, two things you got to make sure you have on your rig or you're able to get access to is the actual skeleton of your character. And in the outliner for this particular character and the ones that we're using in the class, you simply should have it outside of your HRC, which is basically the hierarchy of your character rig, and it should be just called joints. It'll start with God mode in joint, which is this one right here. That'll be your hierarchy, and then also have access to your character controllers. With those two items, everything else is going to be pretty much just step 1 through 5 type of thing when applying the motion capture to it. So as of now, all the information you need is in Maya. So there's no necessary need to go outside of Maya to get any motion capture data or anything like that, unless you want to. So for this training purposes, to apply the motion capture, what we're going to do is open up humanIK, which is the icon right here, and click that open. Once that icon is open, we want to go to create custom rig mapping. You're going to click on that. It's going to ask, you want to define the skeleton, you're going to say define. Then when this window pops open, you're going to click definition, and this is where we start applying the certain joints to the motion builder rig. So I'm going to press Alt 2 and Alt 1 to get rid of my mesh and my controllers so I can see the skeleton, or just go up to show, hit none, oops, or go to show and just hit none, get rid of everything, and just get your joints up there. Alright, so this first thing we're going to be doing is basically identifying the joints to the motion capture rig. So what I want to do first, I'm going to start with the foot. I'm just going to double click on the foot, and then when it's double click on it and you see that everything else is grayed out except for that foot, that means it's safe to select the joint on the rig, which I want to select just the overall foot joint. It turns green, and also the other foot turns green, indicating that the feet and everything is applied properly. Then I want to double select the shin, do that same thing. Now the one thing I didn't mention, because this rig sort of already has it, is the fact that the character is T-posed. Arms are straight and the character is T-posed out. Before you start this process, you got to make sure the arms are straight, the character is in T-pose, or else you'll get an error if the arm is bent or the leg is bent too much out of too much at an angle. So just make sure that is there. I'm going to go with the hand. Go to the forearm. And if your character has multiple joints like twist joints and everything in between the elbow and the wrist, you just want to make sure you click the elbow controller that basically rotates the whole character's arm. So now that I got the arms and legs done, I'm going to go click on this little arrow here, and this is the clavicle. I'm not going to click on this top one. I'm going to double click on the bottom one, make sure it selects, and I'm going to select the clavicle, and it goes ahead and it does both sides. I'm going to go back up, and now I'm going to do the neck. You want to select the very bottom joint, just in case if your neck is more than 4 or 5 joints, you'll always start at the bottom and then go up as if there's any more. So there's only got one neck joint. Go back out of here, double click the head, and note that the head joint is the last joint up top. Just make sure you notice that that's the actual head joint. Same thing with the spine. That's the very base spine. Click this one. If your skeleton had more than 15 or something odd spine counts, you would start from the bottom. I select that one, click here, and there's basically both their spines. Click back out. Now you have, and you got the green check to verify, you have all the joints you need to have referenced or connected to the skeleton. From here, now we got to connect the actual controllers to these skeletons so that the character can eventually move. And for this one, you want to go to the very last icon here, click on it, and now you're going to have another set which is called custom rig, This one's going to be set up slightly different. I'm going to Alt 1 so I can see my controllers. Don't necessarily need my joints, so I'm just going to go ahead and hide my joints. And now from here, I'm going to start from the bottom up, sort of explain things. I'm going to double click on the foot here, or basically the ankle, and then click on the foot. Now I'm going to right click on the humanIK joint and assign selected effector. So now what that does, it basically assigns this controller to that foot. And we're going to sort of work our way up, but this is IK, so I don't necessarily need the knee or any of the thighs or anything like that. And also, these two icons right here indicate if this controller can be rotated or translated. Since it's an IK, it can be translated and rotated, but that's the only thing we need to worry about for the leg. Now I want to double click on the hip, find my hip controller, select it, right click, assign effector on it. So now the hip is connected, and we now want to do the same thing with the spine. I'm basically going to open this up, and I got three. Let me close that real quick. This one right here is going to be your very last FK controller for say. If it's IK and you have an IK torso, you basically just use this one because the IK would basically work like the IK legs. But since it doesn't, this will be the very last top controller. And like we did with the other, we want to start from the bottom here. Select this. Make sure you select your bottom spine joint, which is this controller. Assign. I'll work my way up. Assign. I'm going to leave this one open. Come back out. Select this one. Then select the very top spine and assign. Once that's assigned, one thing I got to make sure I'm doing is the spine on these controllers cannot be translated. So I got to make sure that this is only rotation. So take this one off and leave the rotation on. Come back out. Make sure those are only rotation. Now I'm going to start the arms. This right here will be the wrist controller. So I'm going to grab this FK controller, assign. Same thing, got to make sure that it's only rotation. I'm going to do the same thing with the elbow. And the same thing with the shoulder. Grab the clavicle. And just go through and make sure that these are only rotation. Then I want to do the same thing with the other side that I did on this side. Same thing with the neck. I'm going to grab the only neck controller, assign the neck, get out of there. Oops. Make sure the neck is, it's only rotation. Grab the head controller, assign. Make sure it's only translation. So now I have my character set up with the custom rig, and then from here we can now apply the motion capture to it. So what we're going to do is go ahead, click up here, click on none. Then we got this information that will show up. Then from here, we're just going to basically import an animation that's already built into Maya. So import animation example here. Let that work. Let's basically drop this guy in, but we don't want him to be up here. We want our character to be there, and then the flight dummy to be at the source. Oops. Let me zoom this out. I don't know why it got all crazy for me. So now I have both characters, or my character is now mapped to the motion capture data. Then from here, once I see that everything is mapped, I want to be able to have the animation on my character. So I want to go to the icon here, click it, and just basically bake. You know, bake to custom rig. You're going to bake all the information to this rig. And before you do that, make sure your timeline is the whole extent of the animation clip. I think it ends about 160. I'll put 165. It's about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and now click on the icon, bake to custom rig. And then this allows me to basically go to the outliner or here, just select the hierarchy for the outliner, and you can delete the dummy rig. Get that out of your scene. And now you have the motion captured and baked to your animation rig.